Welcome to the Crazy Ex-Wives Club, a podcast dedicated to helping women navigate the emotional journey that is divorce. I'm your host, Erica, and if you're trying to figure out life after the big D, welcome to the club. Whether you're contemplating divorce or dealing with the aftermath or any of the many phases in between, the club has got you covered. Each week, you'll hear stories from women who have been in your shoes. This isn't about spilling tea on divorce details. This is about giving you the tools to take control of your own healing journey. Listen in weekly for advice, tips, and tools to help you move through each stage of the process. Happy 2-year anniversary, you guys. We have been crazy together for 2 years, 99 episodes, and here we are, ready to kick off season 9. So let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of the Crazy Ex-Wives Club. I'm your host, Erica, and today we are celebrating not only the start of season 9, not only the 2-year anniversary, but episode 99, about to break 100. You guys, it has been a fantastic 2 years of being your favorite crazy ex-wife, inviting you all to come along on the journey. So I thought we'd spend a little bit of time today talking about what does it mean to be a crazy ex-wife? Why do we become crazy ex-wives? And how do we get through it? So for those of you who have been here from the beginning, you may recall in season 1, I talked a lot about what does it mean to be crazy? I love the fact, I claim, I own, I embody the fact that yes, I am crazy. But it took a lot of healing work to make sure that my crazy was in a level of abundance, was in a way that really helped to impact those around me in a positive way. My crazy was not always good. My crazy used to be a lot of big emotions that I didn't even know how to deal with. Starting from when I was really young, my mom loves to tell this story. When I don't know, 2-ish, very little, having an absolute tantrum about something and just up and slapped her. I know that my big, wild, and crazy emotions started a really long time ago. And what happened was they got bigger. I got bigger. They got bigger. They got stronger. They got clearer. And when we don't do the work to learn how to care for our own emotions, then we do look crazy to the outside world, right? We spend so much time trying to pretend like we are just like men, right? We've spent so much time trying to pretend like we can do the same things. And the reality is that we have this amazing gift called being able to tap into our emotions, to deeply feel, to embody those feelings in the body. And as a society, we have not been taught what to do with them. We've been taught to stuff it down. We've been taught to deal with it, on our own. We've been taught to people please. There's a whole bunch of bullshit we've been taught, which meant that our crazies got out of control in the wrong direction. So when I started the Crazy Ex-Wives Club, my wish for you was to empower you to take back control over your runaway emotions. Because when our emotions are in control of our actions, that is when we do things that we're not so proud of, right? We yell, we scream, we send the text message. Maybe you slash a tire, key a car. That's like all the good broken heart songs are always about emotions out of control. And emotions are never wrong. Emotions are valid. Emotions are a thing in you that is begging and screaming to be heard, to be seen, to be felt, and to be let go. So when the Crazy Ex-Wives Club started, my hope was I want to teach you how to regain control over your emotions, how to heal what broke. Because good Lord, I think we all know that divorce is the biggest heartbreak you probably have ever gone through. It might be the biggest heartbreak you ever go through. It comes with longing and grief and lost future plans and rewriting everything about every aspect of your life. It's a complete upheaval, and it can leave us feel very crazy for a lot of reasons. Because long before you decided divorce was the right option, you were stuck in the unknown. You had already moved into survival mode of, do I stay or do I go? Is this going to get better? Is this going to get worse? Can I deal with it if it gets a little bit worse? right? Those are all survival mode things, which trip our system into being on high alert. It causes us to move into that state of constantly scanning for what's wrong, constantly scanning of what we're going to do. And it takes a toll on our emotions. We start to doubt ourselves. We probably stopped trusting ourselves. It's probably why you stayed longer than you now want to. Majority of every woman, I'm trying to think if I've ever run into a woman who has said the opposite. Like I've never ran into somebody who said, I really wish I had stayed longer. Every single person goes, I stayed way longer than I should have. Because we weren't ready. We weren't ready to make the choice. We are ready to make the choice when we are. And so when you're sitting in a space of, I'm not ready, but I'm so exhausted, I'm so tired of having to deal with this, and I don't know how I can continue, that's why you're here, right? Listening, learning how to shift your behaviors, learning how to separate what is the problem in my marriage and what is the thing inside me that I need to heal. That what's my job, my responsibility to be able to heal so that these crazies don't continue to drive my behaviors. You want to be in control of your own behaviors. You want to be in control of your thoughts. You want to be in control of the behaviors and the actions that you take. And to do that, we have to own the powerful part of being female, which is our emotions. And for those guys who are listening out there, okay, for you guys, I know you're like, yeah, they're crazy. They're big. They're intense. They're like waves crashing on the beach, right? Some days they're there. Some days they're not there. They're all over the place. And for our male friends, they can be a little bit hard to deal with. This is why it is so important that as the owner of your own emotions and your own feelings, it really is your responsibility to figure out what's my shit to clean up, what's on my side of the street that's my responsibility, and what's yours. And how do we meet in this together? So I started the Crazy Ex-Wives Club to give you access to different healing modalities because me being able to go from sobbing, crying on the floor, sitting on a therapist's couch saying, I don't want to be here anymore, to a place of loving how everything has come at the right time, at the right pace, even if I was super frustrated and impatient in the process of it showing up. How do you get to that spot? It wasn't just talk therapy. Yes, I started with talk therapy, but there were so many deeper layers of learning about myself that helped me finally break free. And those are the experts that I weave into every single week. You get one life to live. You have one human experience in this round, whether or not you believe in multiple lives or till you go back up into the sky of the ethers of whatever else is out there and come back down in human form. You have one life to live. And our job is to figure out how to be happy in this life. And so often we put all of that responsibility on everybody else. I'll be happy when I make more money. I'll be happy when my partner does this. I'll be happy when I find a partner. I'll be happy when I have kids. The task is figuring out how can we own our emotions so that we are happy and can build all of this other stuff on top of it. And that's what came to life through each of these layers of learning about myself. I don't know about you, but like when I worked in corporate America, we did a lot of learn about yourself, right? What color are you? What number are you? What abbreviation are you, right? There's a ton that are out there and they're delightful because there is no one set thing that is the answer. We are so multifaceted as human beings that each time you take one of these assessments, each time you learn a little bit more about yourself, it's just another piece of the puzzle falling into place, right? I loved a huge aha for me, a huge aha was when I learned about my moon instead of my sun sign. Okay, right? How many of you, guilty as charged, loved a good daily horoscope growing up? I wanted to believe that there was something else that was going to define or give me the answer, right? Was today going to be okay? What was today going to be like? Anyways, fell in love with daily horoscopes a long time ago. Since then, have stopped reading them. But this being drawn to understanding astrology. Some people love it. Some people think it's totally stupid. Here's my question. If your astrology is literally just your bloop astrological thumbprint of where the planets were when you came Earthside, so when you were born, your thumbprint got stamped on you, and that thumbprint creates a little different energetic pull. We all know that the moon changes the pull of the tides, right? We know that the moon can change the tides. So why the heck where the planets are when you were born not have some sort of impact or connection to be able to pull you in different directions? Just saying. When I learned about my moon sign, which your moon sign is how you deal with emotions, it helped me understand why I always felt my whole life like, why were my emotions just so big, so intense all the time? And so learning about my moon sign helped me drop that piece of the puzzle into place. I could start to understand and say, oh, that's just who I am. That's just my nature, because this is, the qualities that that moon had when I was born. And so it helped me to stop being so damn hard on myself. So damn like, whoa, my God, there you go. You just instant fiery snap, right? Scorpio moon for those of you. So scorpion tail, right? Hey, we're good, we're good. And then in it flies, stings you. That's a lot about, I was like, why am I fine? I'm fine, I'm fine. And then I'm not. It's about learning different pieces of yourself. It's about learning to uncover what were those internal childhood wounds that are still driving you. Things, memories that you probably have not thought of in years or decades can sometimes be the root of what's creating uncertainty or unworthiness or insecurity in your present day relationship. So the Crazy Ex-Wives Club was born so that you don't have to feel crazy. Your emotions do not have to rule you. Your emotions need to be seen, they need to be heard, they need to be felt, and they need to be dealt with. But they do not have to make you feel crazy. And when you learn how to hold space for those emotions, it can actually become your superpower. Like my divorce taught me my biggest superpower is the ability to extend grace, to hold space for somebody who's also going through some shit, to hold space for somebody who maybe is not being so nice to me. But how can I rewire my thinking so that I am okay? I am protected. I am not being hurt by their behaviors. And I don't have to do anything to them. I can peacefully walk away, right? I can extend a lot of grace to my ex and the infidelity and the years and the lying. I can extend a lot of grace to who the other woman was and where she's at now and what she's doing. That, a lot of people would say, is rather crazy. But it is about uncovering where your crazy emotions are your superpower. The desire to truly always lead with love and abundance. The desire to extend grace, because we're all having a human experience and some days it sucks, and it sucks badly. And so what are we doing from one human to another? I think if you're sitting here and you're listening on the other side, what has been really fun watching in the last 2 years is who you are and getting to learn who you are. And so many of you are unhappily married. So many of you are in those first phases of separation. Maybe you're sitting in a place where you know it's the answer, but you just don't want to say that it's the answer. And if that's the space you're in, I was there too. I know how sad it feels. And sad isn't even a strong enough word. Just how soul crushing it feels to take something that you really thought was a forever and to acknowledge that it's not going to work. And each week we bring you different experts. We bring you different episodes. We bring you different divorced women so that you know when you're stuck in that uncertainty, you are not alone. Every single divorced woman who has made it through started in the same place you are at. Uncertain if this is the right thing, unknowing if they were ever going to be able to get out from underneath it, and deathly afraid that maybe this is it. How can I continue? And they all made it through. So you're here because you want to own your own healing journey. You want to stop letting somebody else control the emotions that you're feeling. You want to stop outsourcing your happiness to somebody else. You want to get clear on how do we tune in and tap into some of those other senses that we have so that we can create a life that we really truly love. We don't have to settle into somebody else's definition of what it means to live a good life. You get to define your own. So you're here because you're curious. You're here because you want to figure out, how can I do this? And you're listening every single week because every week there is some little tidbit, some little aha, some little statement from a guest or from me that helps you feel not so damn alone in a very lonely process. So I am so grateful you are here for a lot of reasons. When you guys send me a message and you share about how a certain episode correlates to where you're at, or how you wouldn't have made it through this last year without the show, right? That, I drop off my kids and I hit play and I start streaming as I drive home alone after dropping them off at their dad's, and it helps me get through that first night. That's why we're here. And that's why we're creating this space and holding this space for you, because I strongly, strongly, strongly feel that we need to do divorce differently. We look so often at the business of divorce. We get stuck in the proving we're right in divorce. We get wrapped up in the unworthiness of being divorced. And what's on the other side of all of those problems is the ability to heal the places that broke. And a long time ago, when I was looking at my son, as I navigated through this divorce, as I navigated through figuring out how to date again, as I navigated through finding and losing myself multiple more times since the divorce, who did I want him to be running into on the playground? And when we're looking at kids of divorce, when we're looking at the impact that it leaves with them, it isn't the divorce, it's the conflict. It's the ongoing healed emotional bullshit that two adults sling at each other, continuing to hurt each other long after the divorce is final. And I think, to me, that's one of the saddest pieces. Why do we want to sit in a place where we allow something like a divorce that was the most painful part? And I've had a lot of loss, right? A lot of miscarriages, lost my dad, lost that, not lost, but left a 19-year career. There's been a lot of grief, a lot of parting of ways. And so when we sit here and we look at divorce and we sit here and say, okay, that sucked. That was the most painful 2-year process. Why would I want to continue to hurt somebody that I once loved? So the goal in listening every week is to help you take some of that power back, extend more grace, extend more love and abundance, create better boundaries for yourself. You do not have to be mistreated, but it's not your job to change what they're doing. It is your job to learn why it bothers you and what you can do to take care of yourself. So as we sit here at the start of 2 years, as I look forward to what I want to accomplish, there are so many ways that I want to be in service to you listeners out there. This podcast is for you. Okay. So first and foremost, this is for you to not feel alone. And so my first ask of what we can accomplish together is send a note. If you're out and about and something hits a nerve about your divorce process or the fear or the uncertainty, send me a note. Tell me a topic that you want. I would love, love, love to be getting requests every single week of the topics that you guys want to hear about most. My job is to find the healing modality, to find the tool, to find the guest speaker to give you the answer that you're looking for. So show up, drop a message on Instagram, send me an email. Let me know. Where are you struggling most so that we can get these episodes, that we can connect you with the right experts to help you on your journey? All right, my second ask of what we can accomplish together. At halfway through this last year, so halfway through a year and a half, I got a notice that the podcast had hit the top 100 divorce podcasts. And this is huge because the category I chose to put this podcast under is self-help. As you can imagine, the self-help category is ginormous. And so to already be climbing the charts, to have broken the top 100 divorce podcasts, the goal is to hit the top 20 in year 2. And I can only do that with your help. So how do we do that together? Rate the podcast. If you haven't dropped a 5-star rating, drop your 5-star rating. If you're, I think it's Apple, you can also leave a review. Those reviews are what people are reading to know whether or not they should listen. On top of that, your ratings and your reviews help the podcast place higher on charts, on Spotify, on how they promote it and push it out. Same thing with sharing episodes. If there was an episode that you loved, share it, send it to a friend, drop it on social media, leave a comment on Spotify about how powerful that episode was. The more we can all share and spread the word, the more people we can help. Because just think about it. Like, what would it feel like in a year if we were to be able to say that we really did start to change the pain of divorce? What if we really did start to build this community where we had other like-minded people who were saying like, yeah, I don't want to do divorce with destruction. I don't want to do divorce by trying to burn my ex. I don't want to do divorce by trying to get back at them. I want to move forward peacefully. I want to move forward into my own life and wish them well on their side of the journey and have their shit on that side of the street stop affecting mine. And I can do that with your help. So let's hit the top 20 this year. The other thing that I want to say, the other way that we can truly accomplish the shift together is the club. So the club is our signature membership. So it's an annual membership. It is a space for women. Sorry, guys who are listening, just women right now, where we can support each other. It's your sisterhood, right? How many times have you sat in one of these divorce questions? I remember I used to go talk to one of my friends, love dearly, one of my mommy friends, and I'd be sharing kind of like the questions that I had to ponder. Was I going to relocate? Was I going to uproot my son? What was I going to be doing? And it was really hard for her to be able to offer support because it wasn't a situation she ever had to deal with, right? It wasn't a thing like she didn't have to contemplate whether or not she was going to have to move her kids to a new school district. They were working and fine and settled where they were at. And so often we need people who have been there, done that. So one, that we don't feel alone, but two, so that when we need to get support and we have questions and we need to vent, the person on the other side gets it and they've gotten through it. And so the club gives you that space. It is the online space for you to truly step into your power. Signature program Reclaiming Me is going to help you figure out who you are. How do I learn how to care for who I am? How do I calm my system? How do I get clear on what I want? How do I take action that moves me towards what I want in life, right? It is the program to help you become unfuckwithable. Then we have 3 live calls every single month. We have 3 opportunities to connect. The after party, it's divorce networking. You want to meet your new divorce bestie? Show up to the after party. Right? It's the place we all wanted to get the after party invite. Well, guess what? You are on the other side. You get the invite. Hot seat healing. Come work with me directly. You've got questions? Because here's the deal. You know what used to drive me batty? It used to drive me batty that I would be struggling on something in my divorce. And so I would reach out and I'd book an appointment with my therapist. And then by the time the appointment came up, maybe a couple days or a week later, if you're lucky, you get in that fast. A lot of times it's a lot longer than that. The problem wasn't there anymore. It wasn't pressing on the issue. And so even if I had, reoccurring, I think I went in once a month or something like that, or every other week, doesn't really matter. Whenever the problem hit was probably not when I was in the therapist chair. So by the time I got to the therapist chair, I was like, yeah, well, I had this thing and I wrote down a note in my phone because I wanted to talk to you about it. But I don't know, it's kind of not bothering me today. But a couple days later, would it get triggered again by a text he sent or an interaction I had with the other woman? 100%. And I wouldn't have support at the right time. So hot seat healing is like, come talk to me. Come talk to me live when the problems are going on and let's get it fixed. And then we do divorce detox hour because so much of learning how to get to the other side of divorce is learning how to reconnect with yourself. So we do an hour of embodiment together. What does that mean? Somatics, yoga, visualization, meditation. It depends on where we're at. It depends on what we're working through. But this divorce detox hour is to help you let go of all the bullshit that's going on around us, how to reconnect with your own inner guides, how to rebuild that trust. What does it feel like to be in alignment with yourself? So that when you go in the outside world and all the things are threatening to boost you out of your inner alignment, you know what it feels like. You can find your way back home. We all get lost. We all get lost long before the divorce shows up. We get lost in maybe the responsibility of being a parent, maybe in the workload that had to be done, maybe in what we thought it meant to be married or be a wife or be a partner. We get lost, but we have to find our way back. And so this hour of embodiment helps you find your way back. When you know what it feels like, you get better and better at getting back there faster and faster. So I'm proud of you for being a part of the Crazy Ex-Wives Club. In fact, I got my little welcome to the club. I got my merch on today. Wear it with pride. When somebody says, oh yeah, my ex is crazy, this is something that we get to take back. They don't get to call us crazy. They don't get to say that we flew off the handle. Have we? For sure. I have got to remember one phone call where I was screaming. Not my proudest moment. And of course, he was letting the other woman listen. So I just solidified the fact that she thought I really, truly was crazy. I was having a moment. I was hurt. I was so deeply hurt. And I let those emotions drive my actions. So we need to take that back. It's our word. It's our word, you guys. And we can do that when we do the work to heal what's broken so that next time you get triggered, you don't react with hatred. You don't react with an intention to harm somebody else. You react with an intention to understand while still protecting your own boundaries. So welcome to the club. I am glad you're here. I cannot wait to see what we create in the next year. So your takeaways from this week, if you're looking for a space, if you are ready to rise, check out the club. The link is in the show notes. It's also available on the crazyexwivesclub.com under services, also in this episode. Leave a rating and review if you haven't already done that. And then please slide over into my DMs and tell me one topic. What is one topic you really want the podcast to cover in this next year together? I cannot thank you guys enough. I really am looking forward to what we create together in season 9 and ongoing. And that's it. Another great episode of the Crazy Ex-Wives Club, a podcast for women learning how to heal from their divorce. Tune in next week for more advice and tips to help you figure out life after divorce. And until then, give yourself grace, do the best you can, and know that this is all part of the process.